Hello, ladies. It is Tiffany of Clarity, Confidence, Courage, Women's Empowerment, and I have something specific that I want to talk to you about today, and that is crying. Ladies, sometimes we just need to cry. And I kind of have a secret that I want to share on this video that I experienced this week. So before we deep dive into the reasons why I think it's so important for us to talk about this idea of crying, definitely make sure you hit that subscribe, like, and share button. Share this video with other women just like you who are trying to create a life that they absolutely love. All right? Now, why am I bringing up crying? Well, ladies, I have to confess, I cried this week. Yeah, me. Yeah. Now, the reason for me, this is kind of a big deal is because in all honesty, I don't really cry that much. I kind of hate to have to admit that, but it's the truth. I really can't think of the last time before this week that I actually cried, even during COVID crisis. I am the type of person that I work through my emotions. I exercise, I meditate, I deep breathe, I go for runs, and that helps me to release. So crying is really not something that I often do. And I'm going to tell you probably why that became how it is, why I am not necessarily a crier. But the reason I'm telling you this story is because I realized something came over me this week. And it was a multitude of things happening. I mean, there was so much going on. I lost a family member. My sister almost went blind. I mean, it was a lot. And it just kind of hit me. And I just cried. And it wasn't like I was sobbing, but it was just like all of a sudden my emotions just boiled to the top and I couldn't hold them in anymore. And instead of trying to meditate it out or think it through or write my thoughts or journal or go for a walk, I allowed myself to feel. I allowed myself to feel my own emotions in that moment. And ladies, afterwards, I felt so much better. I felt so much, I won't say immediately or instantaneously, everything just changed, but I almost felt like I was actually raw and real. I felt like I was really inside of my own skin and I was allowing myself to be myself. And that is what made it feel good. That's what made me feel like, okay, I can keep going. I had to let that out, but I can keep going. I'm still strong. I'm still me. I can still move forward. Now, the reason why this is so important to me, ladies, to tell you that sometimes you need to just cry is because if you're anything like me, and I know a lot of women who watch me are, you may be an ambitious woman. You may be driven. You may have a lot of goals that you want to achieve. You know, you may have a lot of things that you want to move forward on, but you have been either put in a situation, whether it's corporate world or, you know, working in your career, working in life in general and just having to take care of yourself, or, you know, growing up in a family where you were raised to work really hard and, you know, not show a lot of emotions, then you are the type of woman who rarely cries. And I think that this generation of women, we're completely different from our mother or our grandmother's generation where, you know, women showing emotions was normal. We are growing up, or we have grown up in a generation where we are a lot of us are between the Generation X and millennials. And so we are being taught in indirect ways, if you want to be the type of woman that is leaning in and going for it and having all the things that you want to have, you kind of got to put on this masculine, hard shell. You have to be tough. You have to be strong. You have to be someone who can endure. And crying is not a part of that. You can't cry at work. You can't show those emotions because then people will think you're weak. People will think you can't handle things. People will think you're incompetent. And don't get me wrong, ladies, I'm not saying that you should be walking around constantly crying over every little thing, but there does need to be a balance. I can understand not necessarily wanting to cry in front of your coworkers or certain, you know, friends that you may have you don't want to be vulnerable in front of. But ladies, you do need to have a space in your life where you have the latitude to cry, shed actual tears, feel your real feelings, and not necessarily meditate it away or walk it away or exercise it away or drink it away or use drugs to get it out of your system. Sometimes you just need to feel. Now, what are the benefits to crying? And ladies, there's actually a lot of physiological benefits to crying. But the first benefit, which we all can probably agree on, is the emotional release. It's that idea of just allowing your emotions to be released through your tears. Now, they can be happy emotions. You can be crying at a wedding or crying at a baby shower. Or they can be sad emotions, the crying because you're depressed, or crying because you're upset, or crying because you're in a tough situation, or even crying because you are in physical pain, like something hit your arm or you touched a hot stove. So physical pain will cause immediate tears. It's a physiological reaction. You're reacting to a stimulus. So crying is a physical and mental and emotional reaction, and it helps you to release that pain, whether it's joy, whether it's happiness. It helps you to release. The next thing that is a benefit for crying that a lot of people don't realize, tears actually contain an enzyme that fights bacteria. So yes, ladies, you have a system, a whole physical system that is constantly working in your favor. And so the tears that are coming out of your eyes, again, whether they're tears that you create naturally or tears that you are emotionally releasing, have an enzyme that helps you fight bacteria. So that helps you clean your eyes out. So you actually need to tear up every so often. And the last thing I'm going to say about crying is that crying helps to release toxins such as your stress hormones and other chemicals that are in the body. Now, don't get me wrong, there's only so much that can come out through tears, but the idea is that your body, again, is trying to keep you healthy and well and protect you, and is trying to push out anything that is a foreign invader and making you unwell. So ladies, that is the reason why I want to do this video about how important it is to cry, to release, to understand that yes, you are a woman probably in a different generation and you were raised differently. You were raised probably not to show a lot of emotions, but underneath all that, you still have emotions and sometimes they need to be released. And it's a good thing to cry. Give yourself that space, give yourself that alone time, do whatever it is you need to allow those tears to flow, and then pick yourself up. I'm not saying walk around all day crying. And if you are in a situation where you're constantly crying, well, hey, then you may need to talk to a professional. But it's okay to have that balance, to allow yourself to show emotion, sometimes in the form of very real tears. And most importantly, to feel your feelings. So that is it for me, ladies. If you're in a situation where you're like, Tiffany, I am actually been crying quite a bit and feeling my feelings quite a bit because I'm not happy, I'm not where I want to be in my life, I'm ready to move forward, then let's chat. Click the link below to get on my calendar. It's an absolutely free coaching strategy call. We're going to talk about your challenges. We're going to talk about where you are and where you want to be. And if maybe us working together is the very next step. All right, ladies, that is it for me. As always, make sure you share, subscribe, like this video, and I will see you on the next time. Bye.